better days. Hard times all over, the bull says archly, with what seems to you an aristocratic air. Its blood, still fresh, pools around your feet. You dip a finger in. Yes, yes, go on, sighs the bull. Why not? It soaks through your skin as if you were made of tissue, and it strikes you all of a sudden that you've never felt this good in your life. Sensing your astonishment, the bull just rolls its eyes. The man checks a wristwatch and swears under his breath. His fingernails have been chewed down to the skin.
Bus is late,
he says without looking at you. The man looks confused by your question. Upon inspection, the tickets in his hand show a stamp and receipt of sale, but the destination is obscured. The man turns his wrist and studies his watch, then scowls.
Damn thing. Broken.
He rattles his arm like he's trying to shake off an insect. Some time passes. Quite a bit of time. You figure he didn't hear, so when he finally answers, it's nearly a non sequitur.
My name's Milton.
The man pops his knuckles one finger at a time and starts over. When a wren lands nearby and sings a little, you're grateful for the sound. A Chevrolet idles outside a dusty filling station. A man bends over the radiator, sweat beading on his face. Two girls in matching flower sack dresses sit beside the car. The man looks up as you approach.
Got a moment to help me fill the radiator? Sure do appreciate it,
the man tells you.
It's a wonder we get anywhere, what with the goddamned radiator always breaking. Third town in a week. I keep looking for work, but haven't found anything.
He shrugs.
Gotta be jobs somewhere, right?
He laughs and claps you on the back with one grease-streaked hand.
Of course there is. Not in the next town and the one after that. There was nothing at home for my girls. I didn't want them growing up like that.
The radiator's full.
Maybe I'll see you up the road a ways.
The row of buildings looked abandoned from the outside, but a man scrambles to his feet as you come through the door. Red rims his eyes, and his whole body is wound taut.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! No closer!
He brandishes the tool at you.
You tell Daggett I'll get his money.
He looks you up and down and lowers his impromptu weapon. You see the tremor in his hands. He's scared or exhausted.
Sorry, I thought you were... It doesn't matter. You mind your own. I can handle myself. I just needed to make sure I had eaten money until I found work.
He sniffs.
These people don't like it when you're late. Only for loan sharks.
He rubs his eyes.
I go a few towns over or I might find something. These people ain't the understanding type. They'll think I'm skipping out on the debt.
He waves a hand.
You should go. Anyone asks, you never saw me.
As you walk back down the street, a couple of dark figures emerge from one of the doorways. They look you over, and one speaks in a smoker's rasp.
You. Seen anyone around here? A big guy?
He says.
Well, if you see someone, mind how you go. This ain't a good place to be after dark.
I was still a kid when Dame started turning my head. Long gams, gleam in her eye, all dolled up, and I was done. I didn't know how to talk to a dame. I was a boy, play acting as a man. But when I indulged in a little liquid courage, I was off to the races. Anyhow, you got any stories that end looking up? I miss those hopeful ones. Leaves a warm feeling in your chest, huh? Our home? Louise and me didn't have much starting out. We lived in a log cabin on her daddy's land, but that didn't matter. Home ain't nothing but a state of mind. But you tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen on the roads out here? Anything good and exciting? That's the kind of adventure that sticks with you. Don't know how me and Louisa came together. We couldn't have known where we'd end up. Guess we had faith. Her and me and her. So I miss them blood-pounding adventure stories. You got any like that? Nothing's funny just 'cause you call it a joke. Our fate? We could have been happy, me and Louisa, but Maybe it wasn't in the cards. Maybe my hand was dealt the first day my daddy came home after a few too many. So I miss them blood-pounding adventure stories. You got any like that? Sounds like one of the bad, soppy ones I used to read. The past. I remember being happy with Louisa. Maybe people only gets a limited amount of happiness and we used all ours up. But you tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen on the roads out here? Anything good and exciting? Come on, that can't be true. Sorrow ain't like that. Sadness? Yeah, remembering it all makes me sad. All the time me and Louisa wasted fighting, you'd think that'd hurt the most. But remembering her smile, her laugh, that's what tears me up inside. Sun's up, and I've got walking to do. You know I'm always ready for a story. I'll be out this way if you find any. There's more on my mind about Louisa and the time we spent happy. I'll share it when we meet again.
It's long past dawn, but the stray rooster crows repeatedly. Satisfied with its vocal performance, the bird rushes you, flapping. It backs up and repeats the gesture. The rooster is like a tiny feathered goat making a threat display. It struts and eyes your legs. The rooster launches itself into the air, going for your eyes. As you step back, it returns to gouging your shins with its beak. Its crow now is more like a shriek.
All right, I'm coming.
An elderly man lumbers from the nearby house.
God, don't mind old Red. He's better than a guard dog, but harder to train.
Red rushes at your feet.
Sorry. I can hold him while you get past if you like.
He smiles awkwardly.
Or you could come in, have a drink. Least I could do after he's been shouting at you.
As you step onto the man's front porch, the volume of Red's crows increases. It lunges repeatedly at your legs, drawing blood through your clothes. Finally, the man grabs the rooster so you can get inside.
Yeah, he's a big softy, really.
Your shins disagree. The tea the man gives you is too sweet, but it's soothing. He gossips about the local farms. Apparently his daughter's husband has a new bull. Red pokes his head by the window. He is watching. There is an ominous clucking just as you prepare to leave. Red is waiting. To preserve your calves, you have to sprint from the house door to the gate. The cockerel's crows are triumphant. The sun rises. You walk along the winding mountain path when you see a man approaching from the other direction, carrying something moving inside his long sleeves. The man nudges his sleeves and says, "Quiet, you." He notices your confused gaze. "I caught this little rascal earlier. He had too much to drink." The man pulls out a beautiful mink. It struggles for freedom to no avail. "Don't know what to do with it. I suppose I'll skin him, get myself a new pelt." The mink stares at you intently, small, round eyes crying for help. "Reckon you have a better idea what to do with him?" The man hands you the mink, bids his farewell, and disappears along the maze of mountain paths. You put the creature down and set him free. The mink, reunited with the earth, runs a few yards before turning around. He salutes you, holding his fist and palm, and then assimilates back into the wild. You follow the path forward, with the sun now beating down on you, climbing over some boulders and ducking under a fallen tree. The earth beneath your feet becomes more rigid and uneven with each step. You find yourself losing your footing frequently. The path you chose warps in every direction. Some time passes before you begin to see evidence of yourself walking in circles. Your vision blurs. The boulders and trees begin blending into each other in front of your eyes. You don't feel so well. A few steps later, you feel a wave of intense drowsiness. Your eyes become weary and your neck stiff. You find a large boulder to lean against in the shade and you sit down. Your eyes close themselves to block out the winding roads. Fatigue consumes you. You feel a light tap on your right shoulder. Opening your eyes, you see a man with stubby ears.
"Little brother, is that you?"
He asks. You look around in confusion, not knowing how long time has passed.
"I finally found you. Come on, let's go get drunk."
The man leads you along the road. You arrive at a small grotto along the side of the mountain with a table, a feast, and 5 others already seated. A woman with a long nose gets up to greet you.
"You must be our little brother. This is Miss Fox, and these are our brothers, and—"
Miss Fox interrupts the man with the stubby ears and helps you get seated.
"Oh, stop. No need for the pleasantries. We're all family here. You must be hungry. Here, eat, and try some of this wine, too."
She pours you a cup of something clear and strong. The food is delicious. The sweet liquor hits the spot. Seeing your satisfaction, the rest of the men dig in as well.
"Little brother, thank you again for your help today. If it wasn't for you, I'd be skinned alive by now."
The man with the stubby ears pats you on your back.
"Don't you worry on your journey. I'll always be there for you, too, from here on out." "You still don't recognize me?"
The man smiles and takes off his cap. He stares at you intently with his small, round eyes. There's no mistaking where you've seen them before. He laughs. You smile back at him. You enjoy the scrumptious meal and the strong liquor with good company deep into the night. A group of men across the street from the jail wave you over.
"Thank God you're here.
The man is sweating profusely.
I thought George hadn't come through for us."
Another eyes you appraisingly.
"Not much brawn on you. You better have the brains to compensate." "No need to play dumb. It's just us here. We can speak openly."
The sweating man seems impatient.
"Your role has changed slightly. You'll still be the distraction, but it's gotten riskier. Davis's fault. We think the guards recognized him. No time for that.
The sweating man takes charge.
We got the dynamite. We know the timings. The longer we wait, the riskier it gets. You...
He points at you, then down the street.
Make a scene. If you can involve the police, all the better. Then scram.
It's too early for the shops to be open, but a car is parked awkwardly outside the grocer's. There are an unusual number of men in the street. Several have the awkward casualness of a policeman trying to look like a civilian. The gang is risking liberty, perhaps life, to rescue their own. Such loyalty is admirable. You could assist without being implicated. If you cried out in agony, it would briefly catch official attention, and the gang would get an unwatched moment. It might be enough. Your back spasm is convincing. For a few seconds, all eyes are on you. The two officers who assist you to a bench could be clearing the area of civilians or genuinely solicitous about your pain. Either way, you bought the gang a moment in which to plant the dynamite. A sudden recovery might seem suspicious. Boom! Well, that was impressive. You should probably make yourself scarce. People throng the fair, filling the air with laughter and chit-chat. Kids thread and weave through the stalls, laughing, and knots of farmers stand discussing the various animals on show. The cow is resplendent. It seems to glow in the sunshine, a winner's ribbon pinned on its bridle. The women smile when they see you looking. The one holding the bridle waves you over.
Isn't she a beaut? First in her category.
The woman sat milking chimes in.
She deserves it, wouldn't you say?
She doesn't wait for an answer.
Want to try some?
You walk over as she dips a cup in the milking bucket. As you get closer, you see the patches on the cow's skin. Thick, irregular clumps of scales. The woman holds out the froth-laden cup. The milk is thick and slimy. It tastes meaty. Now your lips have parted the white froth. You see the liquid has a livid purple color, like a bruise. One of the women giggles.
You've a mustache.
You lie down for a nap in an abandoned rail car, delighted to find it still has actual berths, but wake to the sway of a carriage in motion, the rhythmic rattle of the rails, and the crack of gunfire. The porter's one of the biggest men you've ever seen. He holds out a hand.
Don't trouble yourself.
He addresses the carriage. His voice rattles your ribcage.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm. I shall have this situation resolved shortly.
4 bandits on horses keep pace with the train, trading shots with someone in a carriage further ahead. The porter slips out of your car.
Isn't Joe a wonder?
Says the woman seated next to you.
He's been on his feet for hours already.
You hear heavy feet on the roof. Joe's booming voice vibrates through the carriage as he addresses the bandits. You don't hear what he says, but after a minute, the bandits slow their horses and drop back from view. Joe re-enters.
Is everyone all right?
You don't know how you got here, but it's hard not to feel safe under Joe's watch. You wake up back in the disused train yard. In the dawn light, you see the rusting stock here was laid to rest long ago. You leave an offering on your berth and slip out of the carriage.
Voy a rayar mi nombre. Los huesos clavaré.
Across the street from this bar, a man in full uniform stares fixedly at the horizon. The older guys on the porch are watching him with an expression you read as deep distaste.
That boy wasn't in the war.
One tells you.
His older brother died in France. The Junior here tells people he fought, and he stands there in the middle of town once or twice a week in his brother's uniform, so we gotta see it.
He spits in the dirt. The old man's face blooms suddenly and violently red.
Fuck you! You wanna see a poor guy?
He lumbers across the street, and a hunting knife you didn't notice emerges from a sheath you didn't see.
Junior!
He shouts.
You piece of shit! Get out of here!
Suddenly, the old man is flat on his ass. Junior sprints into the long grass. As far as you can tell, the old man is unhurt. He cries.
Look what he's done to me!
Rolls up the edge of his shirt. The only wound there is the dark triangle of an old bayonet scar, healed long ago.
Cuando esté frío y falta, estos son los que me enterrarán. Pues voy a tirar.
The gentle breeze sways the man on his horse. Poor fella must be having himself a saddle nap. Or he's just dead. Down here, stranger. You're sure the man's lips didn't move. His head lolls like an old branch ready to snap off the trunk. Hey, asshole! The horse's grotesque tongue slaps against the roof of its mouth, forming awful mockeries of human words. You got a problem with talking to horses?
That's better. You got any food, stranger? Maybe a plump apple? Eating for two here.
The horse sticks his wet nose all through your pockets, rooting for snacks. You notice now that the rider seems to sprout from the horse's flesh. His skin is papery, gilled, and covered in a scuzzy yellow residue.
Lot of good you are, huh?
The horse scoffs and heads in the other direction. His rider droops and knocks in the momentum, limp as a noodle. Two men sit in the shade exchanging insults. The first says, "That's a low blow, even for one like you." The second responds, "One like me? But you're the cheating, lying son of a—" The first sighs and shakes his head. "No, that doesn't sound right." His tone is oddly jovial. Good point. How about, you're a scoundrel and a thief?" "Nah, don't think you can carry it off. Not with your accent." "Could just call you a You often do." "Oh." The man looks almost bashful. "Just practicing, see? Not gonna play you, so no harm in saying." He glances at his brother. "We're good at cards, but unlucky at 'em. Don't see it hurts to rig the game a little. We're working on a distraction. Perhaps you could have benefited from their foresight. Or perhaps this is foolishness. They are, at least, unlikely to meet your old opponent." The man squints at you, a smile spreading on his face. You feel exposed, like he's picturing you naked. "I can see your light," he slurs. He snorts, possibly in mirth. "No." He taps his nose and drops to a stage whisper. It runs deeper. He offers you the bag.
You can see it too.
It's bitter, but warmth rushes through you as it slides down your throat. Your eyes start to tingle. There's something behind him, a glow creeping over his shoulder. Your vision swims. You can see the light of every living thing. Coruscating colors, patterned auras clinging to everything. Light bleeds into light. Everything feels connected. You have a sense of oneness, a feeling of inner harmony. The butterflies wreathed in green, trailing red smoke. It's the most beautiful thing you have ever seen. You must chase it immediately. You follow for what feels like a few minutes. But as the sight fades and the stomach cramps start, you realize hours have passed. Your eyeballs ache and you feel exhausted, but the warmth stays within you. You could see so much light in the world. stretches in this meadow, making quick, fine strokes on a fresh page in her notebook. She gives you a small, careful smile. "Want to see what I'm working on?" she asks. She beckons you closer, and you see a flower half finished on the first page of her book. As you watch, though, she moves quickly to the next page and begins to draw the cluster of tangled stamens inside it with eerie, incredibly detailed accuracy. She speeds up. She flips to the next page and draws a minuscule bug nestled between the flower's delicate innards. Flip. Next page. Now she's drawn its eye. It blooms across the page in under 3 seconds, as real as anything. Too real. But before you can ask, flip. Next page. Now she's drawn some weird cluster of stringy filaments. Is this the surface of the bug's eye? But she's on to the next page, faster than ever. Fingers of blur as they spread a tangle of dots and lines. Your stomach somersaults. Flip, next page. Dots and blurs woven together, incoherent, nothing you've ever seen before. You feel absolutely sick to your stomach. The woman's hand is invisible. Flip, next page. A new tangle of dots and blurs, weird and familiar. You taste bile. Flip, next page. A cloudy orb in a sea of black flops out of her pencil like as if by accident, and she's already turning to the next page, drawing a smear of gray. But flip. The gray smear parts. A continent. Flip. Terrain. Flip. A meadow with 2 dots in the middle, and flip. Your head. Her head. The flower. God. You cough and kneel hard in the dirt. You're back where you began. Sick as a dog. The artist takes your hands and hold them tight. Hers are stinging hot, like a truck hood after a long drive. "It always wraps back around," she whispers in your ear. "No matter how far I go, I'm always coming home."
Well, look at that. You're back. Come to hear more about my Louisa? Back then, I thought it would all work out. There was always problems, but I loved her more than anything in the world. And for a while, that was enough. So I miss them blood-pounding adventure stories. You got any like that? That's the kind of adventure that sticks with you. Our home? Louise and me didn't have much starting out. We lived in a log cabin on her daddy's land, but that didn't matter. Home ain't nothing but a state of mind. But you tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen on the roads out here? Anything good and exciting? Well, fear is cheap. I used to read the scary ones, so I know. Travel didn't mean so much to me when I met Louisa. I stopped reading about faraway places I didn't need to. There was a whole world in her eyes. So I miss them blood-pounding adventure stories. You got any like that? When you've seen enough real horror in this world, cheap tales don't do it no more. Thought I knew what love was. I loved my mama, even my daddy after a fashion. But once I saw Louisa and the daughter we brought into the world, it's like I'd been blind before. But you know, the books I miss the most is the hopeful ones. Got any of those? Nothing's funny just 'cause you call it a joke. Joy? Well, seeing a doll smile when she sees you? Not much better than that. Especially if that doll's Louisa. Anyhow, you got any stories that end looking up? I miss those hopeful ones. Sounds like one of the bad soppy ones I used to read. Traps? It weren't a trap. Yeah, I started calling Louisa the old ball and chain. But some chains just ain't strong enough, no matter how much you need them to be. Well, here's the sun. Gotta get going soon. All this talk makes me think about my girl. Before our daughter, I never knew what it was like to have a life depend on mine. But once I held my baby girl in my arms, I finally learned my daddy's lesson. What about you? What lessons do you learn as your life goes twisting along?
This abandoned rail yard is full of broken old boxcars. So of course, people are taking shelter here. The looks they're giving you are a little less than friendly. You search around for an empty space to rest. There's a heap of rags and sticks in the back of this boxcar. You start digging around, looking for tinder, and the heap starts moving. "Hands off!" voice yelps. A long, knotty arm with nails like rusty screws darts out and shoves you away. You see big yellow eyes and a flash of snaggle teeth.
This is my home.
The creature informs you.
Are you moving in? Well, you can't. I have the deed for the car. I do the chores around here. I have a lawyer. I'm respected in the community.
The creature's muddy fist emerges with an official document. The actual deed for the property. There's even a clause describing the boxcar itself, rust and all. The creature's signature is a bloody smear. The creature's arm is long enough to shove you all the way out of the door and deposit you outside.
You don't come into a man's home and set his bed on fire,
he shouts and slams the door shut. Two brothers stroll up to you in the street, wearing identical scowls and identical steel-toed boots. One spits in front of you. Don't stay in town overnight, the other says. No vagrants after dark. There's no shelter to find on the road, and the night is cold and windy. You doze fitfully under a bush, but at least you're in one piece come morning.
Bad luck again, but there's no shame in dying. Everyone does it. You still have a job to do, but if you want to learn anything more from me, now's the time. And I'm sure we'll end up seeing more of each other before you're through. Maybe everyone feels that their choices don't matter in the larger scheme of things, but somehow things manage to change for better or for worse. Death isn't as bad as you thought, maybe. It's not like this for everyone, you know. Do you think people are trapped in this country, shackled to the land? Or trapped by this country perhaps, seduced into believing it has all that they need and that none will ever be better? It's like there's a big aching wound out there. I wonder if this country has ever been anything but sad. On the one hand, the past is dead and gone. On the other, it seems like it always has lessons to teach that no one ever learns. Go on your way, seeker. I'm sure we'll meet at least once more. Think about what we've discussed, and good luck on the rest of your task.
glance up, and the sky is suddenly filled with monarchs. Billions of them rising out of the fields and streaming across the road. They fly past for hours. Random southbound flight at first, then patterns, kaleidoscoping, spiraling in a tower from your eye straight into space. Then, abruptly, you wake. The butterflies are all gone, except for the dead ones scattered in the grass around you.
Howdy!
The salty old driver grins, showing off his remaining teeth.
Ever seen a horse before? Liar! Else you'd have noticed that Scott here is a purebred spotted Appaloosa. Very rare. Scotty's great-granddaddies came to this country with El Conquistadors. My family's kept that bloodline pure ever since.
Wipes away a tear.
So now what do you have to say about my horse? Heck of an understatement. Go on, give Scotty a scratch behind his ears.
Hesitantly, you brush the horse's mane with your palm. Scott gives a satisfied whinny, and with his large horse eye, a wink. You glance at the driver. He winks at you too.
I had me a wife, a baby girl, but no livelihood. I tried my hand at my daddy's factory work, but I wasn't up to snuff. For every bottle I filled on the line, I emptied my soul. When the war started, I figured I'd fight for my country. But they wouldn't take me on account of all those years reading, couldn't see well enough. But the Merchant Marine, they took me as I am. And then I had everything. But you know, the books I miss the most is the hopeful ones. Got any of those? Well, that one sure makes me smile. I had a family, but out on the sea, I got another. One I hadn't reckoned on. Good men all. Crying shame what happened. To all of us. Anyhow, you got any stories that end looking up? I miss those hopeful ones. Leaves a warm feeling in your chest, huh? My future. The moment our ship got hit, everything went black. I opened my eyes and nothing changed. I could hardly see. My future ended right there. You know, some of them books would make me shiver. Murders, ghosts, and witches, stuff even worse. You got any of those? Ooh, reminds me of the scary ones I used to read when I was young. Sadness. Well, I'm never going to see a new shore again. And that's about all I got to say about that. But you know, the books I miss the most is the hopeful ones. Got any of those? Nothing's funny just 'cause you call it a joke. I made my choice. Had a daughter, wife at home. Mama said I should have stayed with them instead of shipping out. I tell you, I'd have ended up in this gutter a lot sooner if I hadn't. So I miss them blood-pounding adventure stories. You got any like that? Ooh, tell another like that and you could write a good rag. Freedom's tricky on the sea. As mariners, we never had a choice where we went or what we did. But on the sea, I never felt as free from my daddy's eyes or as far away from those fields outside of town. Ah, here's the sun. Time for me to get going. If you ever find yourself over this way, ask around for me. I'll have more stories for you about the sea and the brothers I left behind out there. They're always on my mind. Always will be.
Hey there.
The man looks anxious.
Don't suppose you saw something shiny on the ground as you walked this way? Might have caught your eye, glinted like a coin or a piece of glass?
The man is devastated.
I lost my girl's grandma's ring. I got her ma's blessing today. She gave me the ring to propose with and...
He turns his face away, but his jagged breathing gives away his tears. He gulps down his sorrow.
Sorry, I can't replace it. If I could afford to buy one, I wouldn't have accepted her mother's offer. I'll find that ring if it kills me.
You walk in slowly increasing circles with his potatoes at the center, but find nothing. After a while, he calls,
Can't have you wasting time. Don't worry, I'll find it.
You're half a field away when something winks at you from the dirt. It's a simple gold ring with a bright solitaire diamond. Must be the engagement ring the man was looking for. Doesn't take long to retrace your steps, but the potato seller is gone, as have his sacks of spuds. When you uncurl your hand, there's nothing in it but a small, shiny coin.
It started around the time we would harvest corn. During this season, the Army of the United States of America raided our lands, burned our homes and crops, and killed off our livestock. The Army told my parents that those who did not surrender would be killed or face death in the harsh winter weather. And so my parents surrendered. Thankfully, I was a strong young girl when we were forced to walk over 300 miles to Huildi, or Bosque Redondo, New Mexico territory. I witnessed the death of many of our people, from the wise and caring elderly to the beautiful pregnant women to young babes who were shown no mercy by the U.S. Army. Chicas, my friend, I need to laugh. Can you tell me such a story? It's good to laugh. Oh, the choices they made. It was grieving to see the humanity in some of the soldiers slowly being drained and crippled. To this day, it surprises me the lengths one is willing to go to ensure the wicked ways of this invasive, demanding country. Chicas, my friend, tell me a funny story. I am sure you hear many on the road. I did not take much from this story. Perhaps different things bring each of us hope. Our family. My sister was just an infant in those days. My mother had lost so much weight on the trail. Every day, I pray that one of the Pueblo tribes found her and took care of her. Maybe her dancing and song brings them the most vibrant corn on their side of the Tzotzil. Chicas, my friend, tell me a funny story. I am sure you hear many on the road. Oh, I don't have it in my heart to enjoy this story. Luck? Sometimes I would look into the soul of some of those ill-fated people, and I would still see a breath of kindness and goodwill. Surely they aren't all doomed, or else there's no hope for the days ahead. Chicas, my friend, can you tell me a story that looks to the future with hope? The Tigre are like that too, strong in the face of adversity. That story brings me hope. The future they see? Someone told me that the Bilaganas believe in a story that foretells the end of the world. I remember thinking, what kind of sickness or witchcraft would bring about such a story? Chicas, my friend, I need to laugh. Can you tell me such a story? I do not wish to spend my time dwelling with this particular sadness. Chicas, our people saw so much death and savagery done to them by the hands of the Bilaganas. It changes a person, a tribe, and even a land. But the hope of returning home kept us going. Look, the sun is rising. My time here is over. I must travel onward this way. Will you travel there too? If you do, please look for me. I would like to tell you more about the long walk to Huildi and about what happened to my sister on the way.